How is everyone? Awake and ready. How feels everyone? Awake and ready. Welcome to this chair yoga class for the YogaFrost, as we're calling it this winter. First thing I'd like to do is, besides that opening of awake and ready, is I'd like us to say this affirmation together. It's from Yogananda's writings, and it's Yogacharya used it as part of our opening prayer for meditations. So together, O eternal energy, awaken within us conscious will, conscious vitality, conscious health, conscious realization, goodwill to all, vitality to all, good health to all, realization to all. Om, peace, bliss. Amen. And now let's get started. You know, Hatha yoga in itself is a complete path of yoga if it's practiced completely and fully. In today's world, particularly in the West, although even in India, is used primarily as a way to keep ourselves healthy, to extend our life and longevity, and to bring extra energy into the body. But if it's practiced properly, it also gets into controlling the mind and using the breath, pranayama. So it actually, if it's done properly, can lead us even into pratyahara and meditation. So what I'd like to do today, we're going to use it still primarily to keep us young and healthy, vital. But I want you to follow the breathing patterns as I describe them, and to try to go deeper within and see if you can get in contact with that energy, that prana as we call it. And the next step after becoming aware of it is also, and we use the breath to help us with that actually, and the next step is then to begin to control the prana. That's what pranayama means. Prana is the life force. Yam or yama is to control it. So think of those things, even though it's primarily for the body, think about how it improves your mind, your concentration, and your control of prana and the life force. And I've been teaching chair yoga probably for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's become popular. I think part of it is yoga is not so strange and foreign to Americans now, and in this older population, which generally take the chair yoga classes, there's enough familiarity, and maybe their children or grandchildren practice yoga, and they've heard about it probably since they were young adults. And so they become comfortable with it. And in my chair class before the pandemic, locally I would get 20 to 40 people in every class that I taught. So use this. You can get a lot out of a chair class, even if you're not comfortable getting on the floor. So let's sit up tall. Let's begin, first of all, with our posture. And I'm going to try to keep this to about a 45, 50-minute class. Generally, I run about an hour, but I'll probably eliminate a couple things to keep it at 50 minutes. First thing is to sit upright. Get your spine long and erect. Pull your shoulders back. Get your chin level. You know, the yogis tell us that the mind is affected by the physical position, the asana, the posture. And good posture is the foundation of good health. So always try to get into this good position. It's healthier for you. It allows you to breathe with the abdomen, which is so much healthier for you. Allows for the free flow of energy up and down the spine from the brain through the medulla to the parts of the body. And mentioning the medulla, I want to start, and many of you who are students and take the SRF lessons will recognize this from the energization or recharging exercises. Bring your hands back behind your head. Use the first 3 fingers of each hand and find that little indentation at the base of the skull, the top of the spine. We call this a medulla oblongata. And yogis know this to be the place where energy enters the body from the brain. And then circle your fingers around 3 times in each direction, stimulating this area, opening it up for a freer flow of energy. And then with light pressure, bring the chin down to the chest. Stay there for a breath. And then inhale, bring the head back, and rotate your fingers again 3 times in each direction. With light pressure, bring the chin down to the chest. Stay there for a breath. And then inhaling, bring the head back and rotate the fingers 3 more times in each direction. And then when you're finished, bring your hands to the top of your head. Make fists out of your hands and use the knuckles of the hands to wrap the skull all over. Generally speaking, the yogis know this to be a memory stimulation exercise. And then open your fingers. Use the tips of your fingers to massage the scalp. Actually move the skin over the bone of the skull. And then make fists out of your hands again and gently wrap the skull a few more times. And then bring your hands down. And then sit back in your chair. And I should have said this earlier, but you can use a strap for this next part, or if you have a belt or a necktie, men's necktie, whatever works for you. You don't have to use it at all, but it just enhances this next exercise for us. So sitting back in your chair, sit upright, spine erect, shoulders back, chin level. And then we're going to start these movements with a double exhalation, a cleansing breath. So empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, lift your right foot up, straighten your knee, pull your toes down. Really work at it. Get that nice work in the knuckles of the toes, the ankle, stretch the front, contract and tone the back. And then bring your toes back, get your heels forward. And if you have a strap or a belt, you can use that around the ball of the foot to pull the toes back towards the chest. If you don't have a belt or a strap, just pull the toes back using the muscles in the front of the leg, or maybe even reach with your hand if you can reach the toes. And then move the foot off to the side. Change your hip rotation, working that ball and socket joint to the hip, stretching the inside of the thigh. Sit up tall as you do it. Don't lose your posture. And then bring your foot back to the front again. Pull back even a little bit harder. See if you can increase that stretch. Release the tension in the ankle. And then release the strap. Pull your toes down and rotate your toes around 3 times in each direction. Pull the toes down again, and as you exhale, lower that foot to the floor. And now inhaling, raise your left foot up, straighten your knee, pull your toes down, stretching the front of the leg and also working the back and toning the calf, the arch of the foot, the Achilles tendon. And then bring the toes back, get your heel forward. If you have a strap, you can wrap it around the ball of your foot, drawing the toes back towards the chest. When you do this, there's many acupuncture points and meridians that end in the feet and toes. And this helps to activate them, maybe making you a little healthier. And then move your foot off to the side. Change your hip rotation. Whenever you move a part of the body, you bring extra circulation and energy there. And both of those things have healing and restorative properties. And then bring the foot back to the front. Pull back even a little bit more. And then release the strap. Pull your toes down and rotate your toes around 3 times in each direction. Pull the toes down again. And as you exhale, lower the foot to the floor. Now inhaling one more time. Raise the feet up. Straighten both sets of knees. Pull both sets of toes down, stretching the front of both legs and feet. We get a little bit more core work with both feet raised, and that's that area between the upper thighs and the lower chest. We call that the core and strengthens that area. Pull your toes back, get your heels forward. Use your strap again around the balls of both feet, pulling them both back, both sets of toes back towards the chest. And we get some ancillary benefits with this as well with both feet raised. It strengthens the hands, the fingers, forearms, upper arms, shoulders, upper chest and back. Pull back even a little bit further. See if you can increase the stretch. And then release the strap. Pull your toes down and rotate your toes around 3 times in each direction. And then keep the feet lifted. Great core work. Now turn your ankles so the soles of the feet come together. Working the ankles in that direction. And then turn the soles of the feet out, working the other way. And then do that 2 more times in each direction. Not only working the ankles, but stretching the tops and bottoms of the feet, working the insides and the outsides of the calves. And then spread your feet apart a little bit and turn your toes out, rotating the legs in that direction. And then turn the toes in, rotating the other way. And then do that 2 more times in each direction. Working those joints, the hip, knee, and ankles, and all the tissues between the joints is twisted, massaged, normalized, cleansed, made more elastic and vital. And then when you finish, bring your feet back together, pull your toes down, and as you exhale, lower the feet back to the floor. And then sit up towards the front of your chair. Bring your hands to your knees. And I want you to turn your right knee out, bring your right heel to your left ankle, right palms over the knee, sitting up tall, and then just gently work that knee in and out. It's a nice, gentle warm-up exercise for the entire leg. Works the hip, that ball and socket joint to the hip again. Stretches between the hip and the knee. Stretches around the knee, down the calf to the ankle and the toes. But it's very gentle, easy, something we all can do. And then bring your foot back, or knee back to the front, and turn your left knee out. Bring your left heel to your right ankle, left palm over the knee as you work it in and out. Remember to sit up tall as you do it. You don't need to look at the knee while you do this. You know where the knee is without looking at it. And then bring your knee back to the front. Your feet are fairly close together. Now with this next movement that we're going to do, I want you to use a breathing pattern. So we begin with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, spread the knees wide. Turn the outsides of the feet to the floor, the soles pointed together. Exhaling, bring the knees back together. Inhaling, spread the knees wide again. Get a good stretch into the groin area. Exhale, bring the knees back together. Now go through that 3 more times on your own, at your own rate of breath. Try to synchronize the breath to the movement. When you do it that way, it interiorizes the mind. It starts to get you more in tune with what's going on in the body, and maybe even take you into where the energy flows are. The first thing you have to do to control prana is to recognize and be aware of it. Once you be aware of it, then maybe you can work on controlling it. And then spread your feet apart and push your knees together a little bit so the insides of the feet are on the floor. The soles are pointed out. And then as you inhale, spread the knees wide. And as you exhale, bring the knees back together. Inhaling, spread the knees wide. Feel the difference in the hip rotation and the stretch into the groin. Exhale, bring the knees back together. Now do this 3 more times in each direction. Again, at your own pace of breath. Pay attention to what's going on, particularly when you press the knees towards each other. There's a very unusual stretch for most of us on the interior of the knees and the legs. Something that even yogis don't do this very much, but the more flexible and vital you can make yourself, the more enjoyable life becomes, and the more vitality and the greater the longevity. And then bring your feet back together. And now bring your hands underneath your right leg, up by the knee, interlace your fingers, or if you prefer, you can bring your hands in front of your knee. And then as you inhale, lift that knee up, squeeze that thigh in tight to the chest. Really squeeze it in there tight. Feel that squeezing on the inside right trunk of the body. All those glands, organs, tissues are squeezed and normalized and cleansed. One more inhalation. See if you can squeeze in a little tighter. And as you exhale, lower that foot back down to the floor. Put your hands in the same position on the left leg. And as you inhale, lift that knee up. Squeeze that thigh in tight to the chest. Really squeeze it in there. Not only do we squeeze now the left side of the chest, but we get a little a nice little stretch around the knee, making those ligaments there a little bit healthier and more flexible. We get a nice stretch in the upper hamstring. One more inhalation. See if you can squeeze in a little tighter. And then as you exhale, lower the foot back down to the floor. Now sit back in your chair. We're going to do one more thing for the legs. This is a little bit more aggressive though, so be a little careful. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Never hurt yourself practicing yoga. In fact, I would submit if you hurt yourself practicing yoga, you aren't really practicing yoga. Because in yoga, you need to be aware of the body, what you can do and what you're not ready for. So lift your right foot up onto your thigh. Now, if this is too hard or difficult for you, you can go back to that first exercise where we had the heel on the ankle. Pretty much the same, just this is a little bit more. And get your right palm over your knee and sit up tall and gently work that knee up and down. We call these knee presses. Nice work on the hip joint again. Good stretch between the hip and the knee, and a nice stretch around the knee, keeping those ligaments healthy and flexible. And then we're going to go into a seated pigeon. Now this is a little aggressive also, so be careful. Bring your right hand and arm down in front of your shin, bending forward from your hips. Relax the back of the head, neck, and shoulders, letting them roll forward. If this gets too intense on your knee, just come up a little bit. Don't ever hurt yourself. Always just make slow and steady progress. Slow and steady wins the race. Inhale, come back up, and then grab either the instep of the foot, the ankle, or the calf with the opposite hand, or you could use your strap also, whatever you need to straighten your knee. And then bring your right hand up behind the leg and gently raise that leg up a little bit higher. Bring that thigh a little closer to your chest. And then as you exhale, lower that foot back down to the floor. Continue to bend forward, coming into the seated child pose. Again, let your back of your head, neck, and shoulders relax as they roll forward. Breathe normally. Feel the squeezing now, the entire front of the body, top to bottom, right to left, squeezing all those glands and organs and tissues, particularly in the abdominal area. Helps to promote digestion and elimination. And it's a forward fold for the spine, a forward bend, and a nice, pretty deep stretch in the lower back, using the gravity and the weight of the trunk of the body to help you with this. And then inhale, come back up. We'll do it on the left side. So lift your left foot up. Place your left foot on your right thigh between the knee and abdomen. Or if for comfort, you might move to your ankle or your shin, or you might do heel to ankle. Sit up tall. Get your left hand over your knee as you work it up and down. Very gentle. Again, don't hurt yourself, but you always want to see if you can get a little more flexible, a little stronger, a little more vital. And then begin to bend forward from your hips for the seated pigeon. Remember, be careful, don't overdo this. Bring your left hand and arm down in front of your shin. Let your head, neck, and shoulders roll forward, relaxing them. Feel the pretty intense stretch around the knee, making those ligaments that tie the knee together healthier, more flexible. Feel the stretch down the outside of the left thigh into the hip and buttocks area. And then inhale, come back up and grab either the instep of the foot, ankle, or calf with the opposite hand, or use your strap if you prefer. Whatever you need to straighten your knee. Bring your left hand up behind the leg and gently raise that leg up a little higher. Great core work also. And then slowly lower that foot back down to the floor. Bend from the hips, bringing your chest down as close to your thighs as you can into the seated child pose. And then we're going to use a variation here. So begin to walk your feet away from each other. Spread your knees wide, so maybe you can get your shoulders down between your knees. Maybe your hands come to the floor for some support. Let your head hang loosely. Now this variation of the seated child pose, we get the knees and thighs out of the way, so it allows us to breathe easier. And we get a much deeper stretch in that lower back and
Almost all back problems originate in the lower back from excess stress and tension down there. Try to stretch it out. And a good chance you get a slight inversion here, your head lower than your heart, bringing a fresh oxygenated blood into the brain, the scalp, and the face. And then inhale, come back up, bring your feet back together. So now we're going to work a little bit on the upper extremities. We worked on the lower extremities from the feet to the hips, now the upper extremities. So inhale and bring your hands to your shoulders, elbows pointed out. Sit up tall, chin level. You know, the position of the body affects the mind. This is a position of strength, youthful vitality. Pull your abdomen a little bit. Get in that youthful physique and empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, open your arms with tension, like an isometric, toning the arms, rolling the wrists open. Open and close your fingers quickly several times. Work the knuckles and the fingers. Strengthen your hands. Then open your fingers and rotate your wrists 3 times in each direction. And then rotate your arms several times each way, working the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, and the fingers. And then close your fingers, roll your wrists close, and with tension, close the arms. Then bring your elbows to the front. And as you inhale, open your arms with tension. Roll your wrists open. Open and close your fingers quickly several times. Open your fingers and rotate your wrists 3 times in each direction. And rotate your arms several times each way. And then close your fingers, roll your wrists closed, and with tension, close the arms. And then bring your hands and arms down, shake them out a little bit, get rid of some of the stress and tension there. And then inhale and, excuse me, I'm going to do this differently today. Bring your hands to your shoulders, your elbows are pointed down. Sit up tall, get your chin level. Empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, lift your elbows forward and up. And as you exhale, bring them backward and down. We'll go 3 times in this direction. This is so good for the upper body, the shoulders. Opens and expands the rib cage and lung capacity. And then switch directions. As you inhale, take the elbows backward and up. And as you exhale, bring them forward and down. So good for your heart and lung health. You get all that energy radiating out of the center of the body. And when you're finished, open your arms. We'll do it now with the arms open. So in your next inhalation, lift the hands and arms forward and up. And as you exhale, bring them backward and down. As you go backward and down, lean back against the chair. Open the shoulders and chest. Drop the head back slightly. And then reverse the direction. As you inhale, take the hands and arms backward and up. As you exhale, bring them forward and down. 3 times in this direction. These big arm and shoulder movements, the big breaths, they really have a great effect on the mind, changing your mood if you need it. And bringing the hands back to normal. Generally, I do some deep breathing here, but today I'm going to skip that to keep the class a little shorter because we've been doing some deep breathing. One thing I will say, usually when I do it, we pay more attention to the process. Remember, when you're breathing properly, you should be using your abdomen most of the time. When you get a little more active for a full breath, breathe into the lower lungs with the abdomen. You expand the rib cage to fill the middle lungs, and you lift the shoulders slightly to fill the upper lungs. And then you lower the shoulders to exhale from the upper lungs, contract the rib cage a little bit, and then you pull in the abdomen at the end to empty the bottom. But now we're going to go into some neck exercises, get into the most important parts of the body, which are from the tailbone to the top of the head. And generally speaking, the closer you get to the brain, the more important the part is. And within that area, the central shaft of the body is the spine. And the spinal cord is the main nerve of the body. You might call it an extension of the brain. And the spinal column gives the body a foundation, and it also is meant to be flexible. It's meant to move. The vertebrae are meant to be aligned. And so we'll spend a lot of time on the spine, keeping it young, flexible, and healthy. In fact, the yogis say that a young, flexible spine is a sign of youth and vitality. So let's start at the top with some neck exercises. Sit up tall, get your chin level, and empty your lungs with a double exhalation. We'll use a breathing pattern. Inhale and hold. And as you exhale, turn your head to look over your right shoulder, as far over the right shoulder as you comfortably can without moving your shoulders. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, turn your head to the left. Again, as far as comfortable. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, turn your head to the right one more time. This time, let's hold it a few breaths and let's use our pattern. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, open the chest, get your chin up. And as you exhale, see if you can turn the head just a little bit more. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, turn your head to the left. Let's hold this a few breaths. Again, using our pattern, inhaling, lengthen your spine, chin up. And as you exhale, see if you can turn the head a little bit more. Inhale, come back to center, relax for a breath. And then inhale and hold. And as you exhale, lean your head to the right, directly to the side, like you're pouring water from the ear to the shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean to the left, directly to the side. Try not to move your shoulders. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean to the right one more time. And this time, let's hold this for a few breaths. And we can let gravity help us pull the ear down by the weight of the head and the brain, stretching the left side. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lean to the left. Again, holding for a few breaths, letting gravity help us. We're stretching out now the right side from the ear to the shoulder, and we're softening, compressing, squeezing the left side. Both are important for health. Inhale, come back up, relax for a breath. And then on your next inhalation, jet your chin forward like an act of defiance. Keep your mouth closed. Move your neck vertebrae forward slightly. Exhaling, bring the chin back, form a double chin. Try to move the neck vertebrae back a little bit. Inhale, jet the chin forward again. Get a good stretch under the chin and jaw and down the front of the neck. Exhale, bring the chin back, form a double chin. Try to stretch the back of the neck if you can. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale and hold. And then on your next inhalation, roll your head back on your shoulders as far back as comfortable. Keep your mouth closed. Open your chest. Come forward as you exhale. Drop your head. Hit the chin on the chest. Get a good stretch from the top of the head to the shoulder blades. Inhale and slowly come back again, all the way back. Now get a good stretch from the chin to the heart. Come forward as you exhale. Drop your head. Hit your chin on the chest. Now let's get our neck rotations in here. As always, only do these to the extent that you're comfortable with them. So on your next inhalation, begin to rotate your head up and over the right shoulder, back across the shoulders, exhaling down over the left shoulder, back to the beginning. And go 3 times in each direction at your own pace. And then when you finish, come back to an upright seated position. We're going to meditate briefly before we continue. You know, I always include a little meditation in my classes because I think it's such an important, big part of yoga. It's a much bigger part of the complete system of yoga than Hatha yoga, really. But most people don't take a Hatha yoga class for meditation. But I feel if I don't teach a little bit, I'm cheating them. And I've used to do it in the beginning, but over the years it's evolved, so I do it right now since we've warmed up, we've done some neck exercises. Seems to be an appropriate time to meditate to me. So let's start as yoga teaches us to start with meditation. It's the strength of yoga, it's scientific, and it has step-by-step procedures for everything, including meditation. So the first thing we do is begin to improve our posture for meditation, the asana of meditation. We want to sit up tall with the spine erect, shoulders back and chin level. It's conducive for rhythmic deep breathing. And then you get your neck and head upright and steady so that you're alert and you're attentive. And then close your eyes and lift your gaze. Actually roll your eyes upward in their sockets slightly, like you're looking at the shadowy shelf of the eyebrows. And hold the eyes still and steady in their sockets. We call this the eye mudra, or the position of the eyes. Really begins the process for meditation. And then in our particular lineage, many different ways that you can concentrate and focus for meditation, but we teach with the eyes lifted to focus your attention at the point between the eyebrows, which we call the single eye or the third eye or the spiritual eye. In India it's called the sixth chakra, the Ajna center. Modern medicine, that point relates to the pineal gland, and modern medical science calls that the master gland of the body. And yogis and mystics know it to be the organ of psychical sight. So focus there the best you can, which isn't easy in the beginning. Most of us don't control our minds very well. So the next thing that the yogis teach us, remember they have these step-by-step procedures to help us reach our goals. The next step is to watch your breath. And the breath and the mind are so tightly interrelated that if you watch the breath, what happens, it slows naturally by itself. And as it slows, the mind slows. And as the mind slows, worries and cares and fears and desires, mental stress, tension and anxiety, they begin to fall away by themselves. The thinking gets clearer. You might begin to feel some calmness and peace in the mind. Just take a couple more breaths. Eventually you might break through that peace and calmness into a joy or bliss or ecstasy that the yogis and all of us are seeking for. And then open your eyes. Let's get started in the rest of the class. Like I said earlier, yogis know that a young, flexible spine is a sign of youth and vitality. So in Hatha Yoga, we spend a lot of time manipulating the spine in the 6 major directions, forward and backwards, side to side, and twisting in each direction. So let's do that. We can do that seated in a chair. So sit up tall. We're going to do some forward and backward gentle bending with called seated cat-cow. Get your hands on your knees, shoulders back, chin up, and then empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, drop the top of the pelvis forward, arch the chest and spine forward, and roll back your head. And as you exhale, drop your head, chin to chest, arch your spine back, suck in the navel and tense your base. Inhaling, release the base. Drop the pelvis forward, arch the chest and spine forward, roll back your head. This is a cow position. Exhaling, drop your head, chin to chest, arch your spine back, suck in the navel, tense the base, the cat position. Now go through that 3 more times on your own at your own rate of breath. Again, synchronize the breathing to the movement to the breath. So if you're breathing faster than the movement, speed the movement up. If you're breathing slower than the movement, slow the movement down. And then maybe you can go a little bit deeper. See if you can feel the energy flows in the body as you go through the motions. The primary energy flow in the body with each breath really is up the spine as you inhale, down the spine as you exhale. If you can begin to feel those things, then there comes a point, if you pay enough attention, where you realize that you can begin to control and manipulate them a little bit. Then when you're done, let's get some sideward bending in for the spine. So bring your hands either down to the seat of the chair and grab on, or if you prefer, you can grab the front legs of the chair. Your choice. We're going to use this to help us keep our balance so we don't fall off the chair. So just sit up tall, get your chin level, empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, raise that right hand and arm up, bring it up as close to your ear as you can. And as you exhale, lean to the left, directly to the side. Try to keep your right shoulder back so it's a straight side bend. You might look up towards the elbow to help you with that. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower that arm back down. Inhale and lift the left arm up. Bring it up as close to your ear as you can. And as you exhale, lean to the right. Now keep your left shoulder back. Feel that stretch down the left side of the body. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower that arm back down. We're going to do it again on both sides. So as you inhale, lift that right arm up. Bring it up as close to your ear as you can. And as you exhale, lean to the left. We're going to try to stay here a few breaths this time. See if we can deepen the stretch on the right side from the fingers to the hip and deepen the compression on the left side. Both are important for health. Can't do one without the other anyway. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower that arm back down. Inhale, lift your left arm up. Bring it up as close to your ear as you can. Exhaling, lean to the right. Keeping the left shoulder back. Now left arm as close to the ear as you can. Feel the stretch from the fingers down the back of the arm, through the side to the hip. And then put your attention on the other side. Feel the squeezing. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower that arm back down. Now sit back in your chair. We're going to get the last two of the 6 movements of the spine. We're going to twist in each direction. So lift your right leg over your left. Bring your left hand outside that knee that's on top. We're going to use that to pull in the pose, which brings that left shoulder around to complete the twist in the upper spine. And we start to pull the hips and lower spine and pelvis the other direction, so we get a complete twist top to bottom. Now wrap your right arm around the back of the chair and grab it wherever you're comfortable, and everyone will be different with that. Sit up tall, chin level. Inhale and hold. And as you exhale, turn your head to look over your right shoulder, pulling with that right hand to open up the shoulder and chest. Pull back with your left hand to get that nice complete twist top to bottom. And then let's use this pattern. As we inhale, lengthen your spine, open your chest, chin up. And as you exhale, see if you can go a little deeper into the twist, pulling just a little bit more with both hands. Inhale, come back around and twisting the body, uncross your legs, and let's go in the other direction. So lift your left leg over your right. Bring your right hand outside that knee on top and wrap your left hand around the back of the chair, grabbing where you're comfortable. Sit up tall, chin level. Inhale and hold. And as you exhale, turn your head to look over your right shoulder, pulling with that right hand to open up the shoulder and chest. Inhale, lengthen. Chin up, exhale. See if you can go a little deeper into the twist. Pulling a little more with each hand. And then inhale, come back around and twisting the body, uncrossing your legs. And now let's get up on our feet. You know, I've taught some yoga classes where the people are very elderly and not in good health. They come in wheelchairs and oxygen tubes in their nose, and they really can't do anything standing. So what we just did would be the extent of a chair class. But most of the classes I teach now, the people are healthier. They're still elderly, most of them. They don't have to be, but they tend to be. And we can do some things standing. And when you can do standing poses, and you can use the chair as a prop, you can get some additional benefits because you can get some full body stretches that you can't get seated in the chair. So let's begin with a balancing pose. And let's do something fairly simple, although none of the balancing poses are that simple, but they help to we all tend to lose our sense of balance as we get a little older. So it's important that we practice these. We recommend every day so that you can maintain your physical balance, emotional balance, mental balance, and you can strengthen your willpower and concentration. So make sure if you're on the right side of the chair, you can touch the back of the chair with your left hand so that can help you if you need it. We're going to do something called Majorette today. So put most of your weight on your left leg and foot. Empty your lungs with a double exhalation. Find a point to focus on. And as you inhale, lift your foot off the floor and raise your hands and arms up over your head for Majorette. And then we'll add some arm movement. So as you exhale, bring the palms down in front of the chest. Inhale, take the hands back up overhead. See if you can lift your knee a little higher. And as you exhale, lower the foot and lower the hands back down. And then move off to the other side of the chair. We'll do it with the other leg. So again, it's important you find a point to focus on that helps you to keep your balance in it. Helps you improve concentration and willpower and determination. So put most of your weight on your right leg and foot. Find that point to focus on. Empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, lift that left leg up. Raise your hands and arms up over your head. As you exhale, bring the palms together down in front of your heart. Inhale, take your hands back up over your head. See if you can lift the knee a little higher. And exhaling, lower the foot and lower the hands back down. Very good. Whatever extent you did that, it's helpful. Remember, Yogacharya used to say this to us. He used to say that whenever you practice yoga, to whatever extent you can do it, you get all the benefits. And whenever you make that effort, it improves and starts to get the benefits from the various poses you did. Now I'd like to do the 6 movements of the spine we did seated, but I want to do them standing so you can see the difference. If you can do these standing, it's a tremendous benefit to you. And I would say if you can just do one thing a day, do this if it's available to you. Keep you healthy. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Get your shoulders back and chin up. Get in this nice pose we call standing mountain. Bring your chin up so that your earlobes are over your shoulders. And then empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, take your hands down, out at the sides, palms forward, all the way up and over your head. Clasp your thumbs together and stretch upward. Exhale and relax. Let the hands come down a little bit. And then on your next inhalation, stretch back up and arch back. A nice gentle back bend. Open up the chest and expand the rib cage, stretching the full length of the front of the body. No one ever does this unless they practice yoga. Slims the waistline, hips and thighs, moves the spine in a backward direction. Now inhale and come forward. And as you exhale, spread your arms wide, coming into a swan dive, all the way down to a forward fold. Let's stay here a couple breaths. If your fingers or hands touch the floor easily, then grab opposing elbows. You want to get that extra weight, natural weight actually, of the hands and arms and shoulders and head pulling down so you get this nice natural stretch from the heels through the top of the head. You might even have a slight inversion, head lower than the heart. Maybe even your shoulders are lower than the hips, inverting the pull of gravity in all the glands and organs and tissues in the trunk of the body. On your next inhalation, spread your arms wide, coming up in a reverse swan dive. Hands and arms all the way up and over your head. Clasp your thumbs together, stretching upward, arms back by your ears. And then as you exhale, grab your right wrist with your left hand, pulling off to the right, stretching the left side body. Keep that right shoulder back if you can. And then we're going to add a little balance here again. So stretch out your right foot. Find a stationary point to focus on and see if you might lift that foot from the floor for a couple breaths for balance. Inhale, come back to center, stretch upward again. Exhaling, grab your left wrist with your right hand, pulling to the right, stretching the left side body. We're also pressing the right side, both equally important. And then stretch out your left foot, find a stationary point. See if you might lift that foot for a couple breaths, or maybe at least lighten up on the toe. Inhale, come back to center, stretch upward a little bit. Exhaling, swim your right arm down and back. Bring the arms level. Gaze back at your right thumb. Try to keep your hips forward for a nice complete spinal twist, top to bottom. Inhale, swim the arms all the way back up again. Stretch upward. Try to get your arms back by the ears to open the shoulders. And as you exhale, swim that left arm down and back. Bring the arms level. Gaze back at your left thumb. Hips are forward. Inhale, swim the arms all the way back up. Stretch upward again one last time. Higher than all the rest. See if you can feel that stretch all the way into your hips. And as you exhale, slowly lower the hands and the arms all the way down. Bring your fingertips together at the bottom and gracefully bring your palms together in front of your heart. In my regular class, when I do that, I generally do it twice. I thought I'd only do it once today, shorten the class a little bit. I also want to do one more thing, and some of you might find this a little too energetic for you. If that's the case, just maybe sit it out. But I think it's important that we work on our legs to strengthen them a little. So I use a couple things, but most often I use a warrior sequence to do that. So stand with your feet apart, as wide as you're comfortable with, and turn your right toes out. Bring your right heel to your left instep, and then push your left heel back a little so your left toes are forward. Now that's a little bit of a balance, maybe a little challenging for some of you. So you might move your foot off to the side, your front foot, to get a little more stable position. You choose that. And then swivel your hips so your hips and shoulders are pointed over your right foot. Get your chin up. Empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, bend that right knee, lunging forward. Take your hands from your hips, front of your chest and face, up and over your head for Warrior One. You can gaze up at your hands or gaze forward if that hurts your neck. You can have the hands parted, palms together, or you can make a steeple, your choice. Try to draw the arms back to open up the shoulders and chest, keeping the lunge forward. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, drop the arms down to shoulder level. Right hands over right foot, left hands back. Try to keep the arms level, gaze over right fingers. And then on your next inhalation, drop that back hand down to your hamstring. Bring the front hand up and over for what we call reverse warrior. Give you a nice stretch in the upper right side of the body, keeping the lunge forward. Now as you exhale, bring that right forearm down to your right thigh. Bring your left arm up towards your ceiling. And as you exhale, drop that left arm down as close to your ear as you can, keeping the left shoulder back. So you get a nice side stretch on the left side. And then inhale, straighten the knee, bring the arms out to shoulder level. Exhale, drop the hands and arms down. And now turn your feet in the opposite direction so we can go the other way. Your left toes are out. Your right heel is back a little bit. Hands on your hips, swivel your hips so your hips and shoulders are pointed over your left foot. Chin up. Empty your lungs with a double exhalation. And as you inhale, bend that left knee, lunging forward. Take your hands from your hips in front of your chest and face, up and over your head. Warrior One. Gaze up or forward, hands in the position you like. Try to draw the arms and shoulders back. Try to pull that right hip forward a little bit. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, drop the arms down to shoulder level. Left hand over left foot, right hand's back. Keep the arms level. Try to draw your shoulder blades together to open the chest for deeper breathing. And then on your next inhalation, bring that back hand down to your hamstring, the front hand up and over for reverse warrior. Nice graceful pose. The bottom of the body's lunging in one direction. Top of the body's arching the other way. And then as you exhale, bring that left forearm down to your left thigh. Bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, drop that right arm down close to the right ear, keeping the right shoulder back. And then inhale, straighten the knee, arms out to shoulder level. Exhale, drop the arms down, turn your feet to the front, and then in one step, bring both feet together, and then spread the feet out and go in the other direction to even out the body. And then let's come on back down to our chairs. You've maybe had enough standing. That last part's a little energetic, but sometimes that's good for us. We need to get our pulse up, our breathing rate up. It's helpful for both those areas of the body. We strengthen our legs. We work the joints, the knees, ankles, and hips. But we don't forget the top of the body. We do some work there also. Now it's time for our final relaxation. We've worked the entire body from the toes to the head. And now we want to get, all yoga classes end in final relaxation. It's unique to yoga, actually, as a form of exercise. And there's reasons for it. It helps you to recharge and refresh. It allows you to leave the class in an optimistic state, so you're more likely to come back and continue your practice. And it also drives the benefits of the poses and postures, asanas, deeper into your consciousness, making them more long-lasting and permanent. And I like to do this part systematically, going from the bottom of the body up with as much conscious as awareness as we can. I want you to try to relax each part as we go. So put your attention down into your feet. Begin to relax the toes, the balls of the feet, soles, arches, and heels, Achilles tendons, and tops of the feet. Withdraw that tension away from the feet, up through the ankles, moving through the shins and the calves, relaxing as you go. Withdrawing that tension back through the knees, going through the thighs and the hamstrings. Withdrawing that tension upward back through the hips into the buttocks. And then relaxing the buttocks, the pelvic area, and the abdominal area. Then put your attention into your lower back just above the pelvis. And begin to relax the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. Put your attention into the front of the body, relaxing the lower chest, the middle chest by the heart, and the upper chest by the shoulders. Then put your attention into your hands, relaxing the fingers, the thumbs, backs of the hands, and the palms. Withdraw that tension away from the hands through the wrists, moving through the forearms, relaxing as you go. Withdrawing that tension back through the elbows, through the upper arms, the biceps, the triceps, back into the shoulders, and then back through the shoulders to the neck. And then begin to relax the left side, the right side, and the front of the neck. And withdraw the tension up the back of the neck, along the back of the head, up and over the scalp and top of the head. Relaxing the temples and the ears, the jaws and the chin, the lips, the tongue and the cheeks. Finally relaxing the nose, the eyelids, and the eyebrows. So once again, all of your tension's at the point between the eyebrows, and your physical body is completely relaxed. So just take a couple more breaths here, and just bathe in this relaxation, peace, and joy. And then to bring the energy back into your body, raise your hands and arms all the way up and over your head. Clasp your thumbs together, stretching upward with the fingers. Lift your feet from the floor. Straighten your knees. Pull your toes down, stretching the front of the legs through the toes. And then draw your toes back. Get your heels forward. Try to stretch the back of the legs through the bottom of the feet. And then while the heels are forward, push your right heel and hip forward. Stretch your right hand up. And come back through center, push your left heel and hip forward, stretch your left hand up. Come back to center, pull your toes down again, stretch the fingers up. And as you exhale, lower your feet to the floor and bring your palms together in front of your heart. Sit up tall and go within yourself. And let's say this little part of a little phrase used in our opening prayer, again by Yogananda, that Mr. Black uses in our opening prayer. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. And then take your attention, go within yourself, and search out within that point of love and light, joy, divinity, and honor that within yourself. And then take your attention out through your mind's eye to the others here today that are participating, and see if you can search out that point within them as well. They all have it. And honor that within them. And that's basically what Namaste means. Namaste.